Hello everyone and welcome back to building a podcast app in Django. It's been a while since I've recorded a video for this series, but today I thought I would sit down and try out a technology called htmx. Currently there's a problem with the existing application in that the playback is currently disrupted. Let's see if I can play an episode here.
At PyCon 2023, there was a section of the...
If I visit another page, the entire page is re-rendered, it goes back to the server, we get a template, and we send back the HTML to be rendered. So it'd be nice if we could kind of partially render templates and subviews on this page so that the rendering of the player isn't disrupted between kind of page refreshes. So I want to explore htmx and see if it can kind of solve that problem, but I want to kind of adopt it gradually, and I think the easiest thing to do to start with is actually to try and get search results showing using htmx, purely because in the example docs there is a nice there is a nice search bar or search example that you can see here. Let's see, I remember there was a so I can do that, and it's doing all of this completely like client side without completely refreshing the HTML. So we're going to try and use this to do the same thing inside our view here, and then perhaps gradually we can adopt it in the rest of our app to solve this playback problem, and it becomes more of like a single page app than a server-side rendered app. So hopefully the user experience will be a lot better there. Alright, so let's, without further ado, just have a look for Django htmx. I know this plugin exists here, and let me just fire open an editor and make sure my server is still running. Yes please. Recall that we are using pip tools to manage our dependencies, so I'm just going to drop Django htmx in there, and I think we can do something like pip compile, which should give us, if we open up the requirements, txt Django htmx in there, and then if we also pip compile potentially the dev requirements and have a look at what gets done, then we can do pip sync requirements .txt dev requirements .txt. Okay, why has that not installed? Django HTML pip show dj Django htmx. Okay, we have it. Never mind. Maybe it was already installed. So hopefully everything is still working in our app. Yep. Okay. So I think the next thing to do is probably to follow along with the instructions on here in the documentation. Let's just have a look at the installation. So the first thing you have to do is add this to your installed apps. I'm pretty used to doing this, as we've done it before with the all the social stuff. So that's htmx in there. Let's add it to middleware. Let's add you down here. It doesn't really specify exactly where it needs to be added. Place it in a static directory, so I don't think we have static file does defined. So let's add that in there, and let's in the root of our project make a directory just called static. And then inside static we want to put our htmx.min.js. So where can I find that? Inside here, inside here. Let's just view the raw file and copy that, and if we do touch static htmx.min.js, you're going to show up. Yes. So if we go in here, we can paste all that content, we can save that, then we can go back to the installation page and lob this script tag in here. So let's see if this works. In our base.html template, if we try u, maybe that needs to be at the top, but let's just see if this works. Server's still running. Refresh the page. Let's pop the console. Okay, so fav icon's missing. Don't really care about that. There's htmx response. Okay, cool. So that seems to have worked. Let's have a look at middleware. Do we care about this? Okay, so it looks like if the request is htmx, we can return partial, else we can return complete. Alright, so let's just have a bit of a look at what's going on in this search example and see if we can start using this in our own search bar. So I think I'm in base.html here, and inside the nav there is an input here. So let's just have a look. We have type search, name search, placeholder. So this is they make a post request. I don't think we want to do a post request. I think we just want to do a get request like we always have done to search, and they're triggering on a key up with a delay of 500 milliseconds. Okay, let's do that. The target they're going to replace like a table potentially with a t-body with the results. So we'll have to add something in, and then they're showing an indicator. I don't think we need this indicator for the time being. What have I pasted in there? I did the trigger. I need to do the target, and then I think we're good. So instead of displaying something in the search results, I guess we want to replace like this kind of inside template. So maybe we want to say, let's call this. Let's just call this page. So search results. Let's call that page. So when we return HTML, we want to show it here. Is that correct? I guess it is. So if there is stuff to show, we're going to render this. Else, if we return a template, we're going to render this. So let's just see what happens if we go here, refresh the page, and just say talk Python. What happens? Do we get any errors in the console? HTML target error. Why is that? Do I have to have the hash here? Let's look at this example. Search results. Oh, of course. Yeah, I need to get rid of you. So let's refresh the page again and just try talk Python. Okay, sweet. So it looks like it's just completely re-rendered our template inside here, which is, I guess, not what we want, but yeah. We'll have to return I think a partial template instead. I wonder if I can get it to kind of auto submit. So if I refresh the page here, it takes us back to our index page, and if I submit the form normally, it redirects me to search. But if I wait for the htmx submission, what's going to happen there? So it's on key up. After 500 milliseconds, it's going to render the search page. Okay, maybe a post will actually redirect it. So maybe I do need this, but let's soldier on for the time being and just look in our views. So here's our search page. Search. So here we have some results. If it's okay, then we return the results here. Potentially we don't actually need this. We could say results is results.json. Let's just say this results equals this. Then we can kind of get rid of or simplify a bit of this logic here and say results here. And looking at this, we can say if request.htmx, if request.htmx, else. So if it's a htmx request, we want to return like a partial. So let's just call this search partial. And if it's not a htmx request, we want to just return the results. So let's try and find our search here, and then let's create a new file and just call this search partial.html, and let's take everything in search for the time being, and then go into search partial and paste this, but instead of extending base HTML and using content, we're just going to include the partial template, I guess. So what happens now if we go back to the index and we just type in talk Python? Okay, it's still rendering this because I think it's still showing the actual content on the index page. Okay, so I think potentially inside base.html we have to put this inside of here. So if I refresh this page now and just say talk Python, okay, awesome, that's great. And I wonder if potentially offline I can figure out a way to have htmx append stuff to the route. I don't know if that is considered good practice or not, but yeah, as you can see, if you submit the form manually, then it does actually redirect you to search whether the query is talk Python.
3 hours later.
Guys, it's Jack from the future. I actually did figure out how to change the URL on the search using htmx. So using this directive htmx replace URL equals true. So to just demonstrate this working, I type talk Python in here and wait for the timeout. It's going to hit the URL and it's not actually going to refresh the page completely and render the whole template. To actually prove that this works, I think let's take this media player down here and try and render this on every page. Try and play media and then try and initiate a search. So if I go to, I think podcast detail is where this component is, and just go to my base template and steal this audio player from here and drop it in here. We can say block player end block, and then we can move all this script logic here into like the player block player end block. So this is all the stuff that adds the let me try that again, adds all the on click event block player end block. We save this now, go here. Now if I visit the index page, I should have a player, which is fine. I think that's pretty much what I want. So now if I click an episode,
At PyCon 2023,
play
there was a
in a
section
way.
of the expo floor dedicated
to
to
search for
new
Talk Python.
Python-based companies
it
called
continues playing.
Startup Bro.
So yeah, I think
I
that's
wanted to bring their
pretty
stories
much
and
what I
the
want. I
experience
just need
of
to add
talking
it
with these
to I need to use htmx for the remainder of this interface here, so that playback can actually resume
At PyCon 2020.
throughout the whole app. Alright, see you guys in the next one.